Hello, everybody, and welcome to our 17th episode of the Hill Shadows podcast. My name is Jeremiah, and as always, I'm here with my wife Ashley. Would you like to say hi?
Hello.
And we are here with another episode of our podcast on the strange, the unknown, the paranormal, all that good stuff. If you're into that kind of content, hit the subscribe button. We do weekly uploads every Saturday of this podcast, and we also try to do a little filming in between Saturdays as well every once in a while. And being as the weather is kind of starting to cool down, we'll probably be doing quite a bit of that this fall. Hope everyone's having a wonderful week, and hopefully ready to get into the weekend and get all the work and all that craziness behind us for a couple days. There's been some interesting things I've researched on this past week. I know Ashley, you probably are just researching, right?
I'm reading.
She's just getting ready for the episode, but you gotta get ready sometimes. So I'm not gonna be too mean to her about it. She's at least gotten prepared. So I guess the first thing I want to bring up, I don't know if any of you guys are religious or are familiar with books in the Bible, to be specific, Revelations. But there's been some audio that's surfaced as of recently that may pertain to some kind of biblical revelations or prophecy. And the specific one I'm talking about is Revelation 9:14, and that is in the NIV. It said to the sixth angel who had the trumpet, "Release the four angels who are bound at the great river Euphrates." Now, what does that mean exactly? Now, the words that are spoken are the words that John hears coming from the four horns of the golden altar, which is Revelations 9:13. The temple object described in Exodus 27:2. The voice commands the sixth angel with the trumpet to free the four angels who were held captive at the Euphrates River. Now, they're supposed to be underneath the Euphrates River, I believe. They're supposed to be held captive or enslaved somehow, or imprisoned. And Revelations reminds us that, obviously, Armageddon, the end of days, will no doubt arrive at some point in time, a designated point in time that no one knows about. And also, we know that these angels are probably demons. They're described as bound, and we know that demons are fallen angels, many of whom are bound in chains of gloomy darkness, as it says in 2 Peter 2:2-4. God's good angels are free, they're not bound, and some of Satan's angels or demons are bound. So anyway, there's a scripture that says that the angel will pour out onto the river and the river will dry up, and there will be the four fallen angels released. And yeah, basically what's happened over the last few years is, well, the great Euphrates River is indeed drying up. And what they're discovering as the water gets lower is there's some ancient caverns, caves, and perhaps things that would look like a prison of some sort, right? Just
Yeah.
strange structures. And what has surfaced is what is supposedly a recording somebody obtained from within one of these caves. And just so you guys are up to speed with it, I will find a copy of it and I will post it right here so you guys can listen. So check it. what'd you guys think? Pretty crazy, huh? You can hear some chains, sound like some growling going on, maybe just some bellowing, some real guttural sounds. Anyway, pretty crazy stuff. And who knows, right? I mean, I think we've witnessed some Bible prophecy become fulfilled in our time, and just in our time here on Earth. So, I mean, I personally believe in, I think it's interesting the fact that it is described in the way that it's described, and it seems to be taking place in just that way. And it also mentions that it dries up to set the way for the what is it, the kings of the East or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And as you guys know, we've got some crazy stuff going on in the East right now. I'm not gonna point any fingers at anyone in specific because obviously there's a couple places you could point a finger at, I guess. But anyway, all the uncertainty we have going on right now, just all the craziness we got going on in the world, and you got Revelation 9:14 basically speaking right on the great river Euphrates, and the condition seems to be matching what the prophecy speaks of. So, anyway, let us know what you guys think about that. What you guys think about the recording? Do you think it's authentic? Do you happen to know more about it than we know? I don't know too much about the actual recording. I have seen I don't know I don't know if you guys will see the footage that's in the recording. If I can find it, I'll have that in there with it. But if not, I have seen it. So it is indeed taken from a cave location somewhere on Earth. But it's interesting. And also we want to hear if you guys have any cool stories to share. We would love to hear them and maybe share them on an episode of our podcast. And you can email those to us at hillshadowsky@yahoo.com. That's right, Yahoo, because I like to stay up to date. But yeah, hillshadowsky@yahoo.com. Shoot us a story, send us a message, say hello to us, whatever. We want to hear from you guys. I actually got another story about a crawler this week. I seem to be finding these all over the place. And
You seem to have
a fascination
yeah,
with what you're
a little
saying?
bit.
It seems just to be the stories I come across. I don't know what it is. This one, actually have a couple different ones, but I'm gonna start with this one. And let me make sure I'm starting with the right one.
Okay.
Yeah, okay, I got it. Yeah, I got a couple different ones, but I'm gonna start with this one. And this is I got this off Reddit, and this comes from a post under paranormal, and the post is titled "Kentucky Cryptids," and the post is let's see, maybe the post is by a user named paranormal. I don't know. Anyway, I'll have the link in the descriptions if you guys want to check it out. I'll go ahead and start. I actually overheard about this on the news a few years back. It's a feline-like creature, said to look like a mountain lion mixed with some sort of monstrosity. I didn't really think much about it till my friend, we call him Brian, he hunts a lot. Well, about a year ago, I think it was in deer season, he was doing what he does, and it was pretty late. He and his dad were about to pack up, and they heard a low growl near them. His dad told him to get back up into the hunting perch. I'm not a hunter by any means, so don't crucify me for not knowing the correct lingo. Brian did, and watched through his binoculars to watch out for what made the growl, or his dad to give him an all good. He watched for what he said might have been 10 to 15 minutes when movement caught his eye. He tried to get a better look when he saw the weird creature previously mentioned. It scared him so bad he froze. He thought it was just a mountain lion or bobcat, but it had 4 eyes. His dad managed to distract it off to startling a nearby doe. It left chasing its newfound prey. He and his dad waited until they couldn't hear it, then booked it back to their truck. He was pretty shaken up the whole week after. I felt bad for him. However, this wasn't his only run-in with a cryptid or strange creature. Despite being underage, he still does a lot of dangerous or stupid things, such as drinking and driving, smoking cigarettes, and other dumb things. He isn't shy about it either. Well, he had been drinking and driving, but he wasn't drunk yet, and his best friend, we'll call him Dave, were taking a joyride on some back roads, which aren't hard to find in our region. They were messing around, having a good time, blaring music, teenager things. He was focusing on the road, listening to a story Dave was telling him, when he saw a strange, pale, humanoid, quadrupedal, fleshy-looking creature with visible teeth and large black eyes run out into the road.
Nope.
Brian hit his brakes and just barely didn't hit it. It screeched at him and ran off into the woods on the other side of the road. Brian and Dave sat there trying to process what had just happened and if what they had both seen was real. They stopped drinking and went straight back to Dave's house where they proceeded to freak the F out. They told me this story too as I sat next to them in a couple classes. Well, I asked them to describe the creature to me as I'm known for researching and collecting info on cryptids, urban legends, and monsters. They felt I might be able to help. After they gave me the description, I came up with a list of possible creatures and showed them art and, quotation, real pictures of them on Brian's phone. Once we got to Wendigos, skinwalkers, and the rake, they showed clear signs of distress. I pulled up one of the well-known rake pictures and showed it to them. I thought Brian was going to have a heart attack. He yelled, "That's it! It has to be! It's almost dead on!" Dave scrolled through related pictures and found a different photo and quietly showed both of us. Brian then fell silent. They both said that was it. That was the creature they nearly hit. And I told them they have to be bullshitting me because the rake is a creepypasta. Told them the story and what it's known for, and not proven real and very likely fake. They were insistent that's what they saw. They thanked me and asked if there was a way to protect themselves if it came for them. I told them I didn't know, but fire was probably the best route if it actually was real. They haven't had any experiences since that I know of, but it freaked me out it freaked me and them out a good amount. I was glad I could help them, but now I'm terrified of the woods more than I previously was, and I question more and more of these legends, whether if these legends are legends. I already believe in a few, but it's terrifying to think more of them could be real. So there's another one. I thought it was interesting they described it as fleshy, right?
Mm-hmm.
You also always hear about the fleshy look,
Right.
or like pale skin, like a dolphin skin is my favorite description.
Yeah,
I love the dolphin skin description.
I know.
I feel like if it's got dolphin skin, it's probably fragile, right?
Wow, they might
I feel
have
like you could take your thumbs
thick.
and just jab it. Right. I
Do
wish
its
y'all could see
skin?
the video, man. Yeah, jab it right through his skin if you come across one of these things. Don't listen to me. Actually, I don't know what to do. They seem horrifying.
Oh my goodness.
If you want my advice, stay out of the woods in Kentucky because there's some crazy stuff
Is that
going
where this
on
was
around
at
here.
too?
Yeah, this was in Kentucky.
Hell no.
It was under Kentucky Cryptids. So
Okay.
yeah, I don't have an actual location or anything. But the post was put up 3 years ago, so who knows? I'd like to think it was a recent sighting, but that doesn't mean it was. And sorry, we're still not on video here, but we have come up with the concept of what we're gonna do, and we will be doing it next weekend for sure. Because it's really not that complicated. We've probably made a bigger deal out of it than we need to. But do you have one you want to share? You got one? For us?
So, I mean,
Tell us
not
about
cryptid,
it,
but I kind of figure,
Hey,
in
we-
honor
all
of
things,
Halloween being next month,
man. It is.
maybe could share
Oh
a
yeah,
creepy story.
the weather has been like right down fall weather.
Beautiful.
Literally, somebody switched the switch from summer to fall. It went from like 96 degrees to
To 70.
76.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And I'm not complaining one little bit. So the weather's been beautiful here in central Kentucky. I just love the fall weather. But let's hear what you got, man. She's got something for the Halloween season coming up.
Just a little, little spooky
And this is
stories.
a true encounter from where?
Reddit.
From Reddit.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what about location wise? Where did this take place?
I don't know.
She don't know. Let's go. Let's see what's.
No clue.
All
right. So this is just how it's wrote. I think I've shared this story here before, but when I was around 9 or 10 years old, my family had a big family reunion at my great aunt's house, a giant Victorian era mansion with a huge backyard. I remember there was nobody there my age, and all the adults became eventually drunk. So I wandered around the house and quickly found the upstairs library that I thought was neat because it also had a back hallway with a tiny bedroom and full bathroom. Probably the nanny's quarters back in the day. I remember I was sitting on the library rug, I think playing with a black and gold check printing machine, when a kid in the hallway suddenly said, "You're not supposed to play with guns, Bill." I wasn't playing with guns, and my name wasn't Bill, but I thought, cool, another kid my age. I looked back and didn't see anything. Then I hopped up and went around the door, but he was gone. I went down the stairs and found my mom and asked if she had seen a kid my age. She hadn't. I looked all around and there was nobody there that was my age. Then when I was a late teenager, my mother told me that her father, Bill, who had died before I was born, had killed his friend with a gun accidentally when he was 13 in that house, but nobody ever talked about it in the family. Fast forward 40 years later, I was now driving. My great aunt, Bill's sister, who had stayed in that house until she was 90, back to her assisted living apartment, age 105 now. I asked where Bill had shot that kid, and she said it was upstairs in that library. That's the story.
Yeah, that's interesting.
I thought it was kind of creepy.
You don't have a location on this?
No, unfortunately, no. I don't.
I wonder how true that is. It sounds like a true story.
Yeah,
Bill.
It's supposed to be. I have one more story. It's shorter than the one that I just read.
Okay.
But I thought it was, I don't know. It's a little weird.
Is it the one that I've already heard, man?
No, it's not.
Okay. Well, that was a good one, too. So.
Yeah, I probably should have screenshot that or something because I don't know how to find it now. Anyways, I was driving down a dark back road with zero light, aside from my headlights, when I was 16. I was with my best friend, and we were joking and being teenagers when he says to me to look out for this box that was in the road. What I saw was a box slowly inching across the road. Now, this was a night with no wind in the Pacific Northwest. There was clearly something in the box. I approached slowly, thinking maybe a raccoon or cat was stuck under the box and needed help.
The box alone.
As I'm pulling alongside it, my friend starts getting a little freaked out. I looked at him, car stopped now, and I'm like, chill, dude, we can free it. And he starts begging me to drive. I look over and I see that it's not a box at all. It's just a piece of cardboard, stood up on end, just inching towards our car slowly. We were right next to it.
Great.
So there were no strings pulling it, and there was no wind, so it couldn't be that. It took a second to register that what I was seeing wasn't normal, and once it did, I drove so fast out of there. To this day, I have no effing clue what the F that was.
That's awesome, man. The box troll, I think.
Well, what could that have been?
I don't know. I've seen some weird stuff like that before. Not a box specifically, probably.
Right? I don't know. I just thought that was quite interesting.
I can't think of
a
anything
cardboard box standing up, inching.
I gotta say that they're braver than I am because I would have just left the box be. That's one thing I don't do is I don't open stuff up if it looks suspicious, you know. Oh, so I could just tell by looking.
Yeah, they were like cars stopped or truck, whatever.
Waiting on the box to cross
So
the
it was
road.
inching slowly towards them.
I would have probably ran it over, to be honest. I don't know. That's pretty weird.
I do have one other story.
All right. Yeah, let's hear it.
I know I just said that before about
Do you
that one,
have
but there is another one.
any context? You want to set us up for anything? Or is it just a flat-out story?
Yeah, there's really...
Okay.
These are all just supposed to be like true kind of scary stories that people had.
Okay.
All right, so it says, my mother had told me about a strange dream. I was in a mansion, and the closer I got to the cellar, the deeper her sense of dread had become. Something evil and dangerous just out of reach. I woke up feeling so strange. I almost called you to see if you were all right, but it was 4 a.m. We chuckled about our weird little psychic feelings and moved on. A few months later, I was hiking with a friend, and we came up on an old abandoned farm. It was cool, and just a tiny bit creepy in that abandoned farm way. But on a nice sunny day, it was mostly just cool. The farmhouse was huge and boarded up, and being the kind of folks we were, we broke in. Inside was a time capsule. Everything looked as though the inhabitants left suddenly sometime in the 60s. There was still an old tube of Colgate and prescription drug bottles in the bathroom. Made, but dusty and somewhat rotten, beds in the rooms, magazines on side tables. As we worked our way back, the elements and animals had made more progress. The floors softer and walls more crumbly, until I got to the large service kitchen where the floor started to look actively dangerous. Some floorboards flexing ominously underfoot. I tread very carefully. Still, I felt compelled to explore. Dishes and mouse-invaded food containers in the cupboards. An old junk drawer full of vintage crap. I turned to my friend to show him something and realized he wasn't there. When had we split up? What room was he in? I called his name and then noticed one of the doors open, stairs leading to the basement, like a black mouth. I said his name again, and my voice seemed to echo back from that void. Cold, musty basement air felt like it was blowing at me, and I felt the creeping edge of uneasy fear. Alone, no sound of friend, odd anxiety about those dark stairs. I turned back to the way I'd come in, calling my friend's name, and eventually found him. Hold on. My friend's name, and eventually found him in a side study, looking at old books. We should go, he said. I'm a little creeped out. Me too. We made a careful exit and headed back. On returning to cell phone service, I had multiple missed calls from my mom. Are you okay? She asked. I had one of those mom moments. I just got really worried. Everything okay? Sure, I told her. We were coming back from a hike, and we found a cool old house. I started to describe it. Oh, wow, she said, and then she started to ask specific questions. Was there a red dining room with broken glass cabinets? A floral bedroom with a huge four-post bed? An old white enamel cook stove in the kitchen? She was describing the house 2,500 miles away from her. That's the mansion that I dreamed, from that dream I told you about. A sprawling old farmhouse. Yes. And then she started crying. Oh, geez. I'm sorry, this is so crazy. I saw that house. Oh, you can never go back there. I'm feeling that dread again. That cellar. There's something awful in that cellar. Please promise me you're okay. She was nearly hysterical, describing that cellar door I'd seen. The stairs leading to blackness. The rotten floor of the kitchen. I had to promise her we wouldn't go exploring there again. Which was easy. It felt cold. I felt cold and tingly, deeply sad at the sound of my mom, who was overwhelmed by her weird premonition. I felt overwhelmed. I'm a die-hard skeptic, but she described that abandoned house I was just in a part of the country she'd never been to. My friend was thoroughly unnerved too. That's what was creeping me out. I was starting to hear noises from down there, is what his friend said.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is that the entire story?
That's the story. That was all of it.
Do you have a location or anything on this one?
Nope.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah. I don't know. I just thought it would be cool to read, you know,
I mean,
some
it was
creepy
a
little
very
stories.
good description of like a dark cold, damp
It
basement.
was, right?
Yeah, it had me slipping in there.
Yeah.
I didn't want to go in that basement either. I had a bad feeling
Right?
about it. So stay out of those dark cellars, guys.
I wonder what creepy noises his friend was hearing from them. Like what happened in those basement or in that basement.
It's quite ominous down there. I don't know. I wouldn't go.
Yeah.
Wouldn't go down there.
Yeah. I'm excited for Halloween. It's probably one of my favorite
Oh, I am
holidays.
too. And we'll have some special episodes that we'll be doing for Halloween. It's our first Halloween with Hill Shadows.
Yeah.
So that's gonna be cool. You know, we've been doing Halloween type content the whole year.
Mm-hmm.
So for 1 month, we'll actually be on the right page, like doing what everybody else is doing.
Next week will be, what? Let's see.
Well,
I was gonna say the
episode.
1st of October, but no, I'm wrong about that.
I want to cover some haunted locations.
That's what I was gonna say, or some
Waverly. We haven't.
I
talked about.
Just
Waverly.
Don't know about that.
Why?
Going there?
Oh, I don't care to go there, but
No,
I was talking
I don't
about
want to go there.
telling everybody else about it. Maybe having an episode about it. Or doing an episode where we cover that and Skinwalker Ranch, or just do specific locations where crazy stuff happens.
The idea of going
I would love to
go. Haunted places, it sounds cool, right?
I would love to go
exciting,
because I've never seen anything like that.
Yeah, I don't.
You
I
have,
and I
haven't.
do not want to again.
I'm 43 years old. I've been around longer than you. I still haven't seen anything. So yeah, I'd love to go.
Honestly, I've sat here reading scary stories for the last hour and a half now.
You have.
And I'm probably gonna be a little spooked out, spooked and scared.
Guys, that's
tonight.
when she does her research for the podcast. Is about an hour and a half before we do.
Why would you tell people that? What the heck? That's not true.
People like hearing brutal.
Hold on now. This is not necessarily true. I have a notebook.
She's right.
Over
it's
here.
not. She does her research. She didn't this week for whatever reason, but most of the time I'll give her credit. She does have her notebook. She's done more than I have. I'll be honest.
I know why you're talking smack about me. Wow.
I mean, like I said, brutal honesty.
Wow.
I was brutally honest about you, and then smacked me.
No, that was not brutally honest because you acted like
it was just one
every time.
Anyway,
it's not true. I've just not, been on top of it this weekend.
You got you want to give us an article or username from your story so they can, we got a reference.
It was just creepy stories.
Just creepy stories.
Yeah.
Well, I got another one, and this one is under the Reddit title Haunted, and it comes from a user by the name of Kentucky Log Lady. Somebody in the logging industry, I suppose. Maybe I don't want to say the wife of a logger. She could very well log herself, right?
Right?
She's the log lady.
That was my initial thought.
I know. I'm not going to say nothing like that on here. Y'all are crazy.
Anywho.
Anyway, this is a little different because I'm not talking about crawlers for once.
All right.
And, there's a few different things in here. It's a little, just the title of this is Some Personal Stories from Eastern Kentucky. And that's what this person has shared on here. I will leave the link in the description like always. And I will start this off. I've lived in Eastern Kentucky my whole life. I grew up way back in the holler, the last house on the road, deep in the woods. I lived with my grandparents the majority of my childhood, and if I wasn't there, I was next door at my mom's house. Those woods have always gave me a creepy feeling. I have felt stuff watch me. I have felt things touch me. I have seen stuff that I can't explain. I'll tell a few happenings that have happened to me and my family. When I lived with my grandparents, I would sleep with my mamaw. My papaw slept in the other bedroom because they both snored really loud and would keep each other up. My grandma's bed was right beside the window facing the woods. My side of the bed was right next to the window, and in the summer, she would keep the blinds up and open the screen on the window and turn the fan on high. Kentucky summers are extremely hot and humid. I remember many nights lying there and not being able to close my eyes because I would feel something watching me from the woods. I would lay there and stare into the darkness, hoping that I wouldn't see whatever it was and that it would go away. I would lay there for hours at a time. My whole family would see little small figures dart around the house, across the hall from bedroom to bedroom. My mom has witnessed a lot in this house. One morning, my grandpa had taken my mama to work. She would go in around 6:30 a.m. She never got her driver's license, so my pop had always taken her to and from where she needed to go. My mom was getting ready for work that morning and thought my papa had come back home from town. She said that was quick, and he didn't reply. She said she heard him rustling through the cabinets like he does every morning, working on making coffee. She said she even heard him spit in his spit bottle.
Wow.
My papa has chewed tobacco for as long as I can remember. She heard the recliner being opened and went into the living room, and no one was home. She left for work as soon as possible after that. Living in the double wide we had beside my grandma, I would sleep with my mom most of the time. The heat never circulated very well to the other side of the trailer for some reason, and in the winter it would get really cold. Her bed was facing the master closet and master bedroom, and my side of the bed faced the master bedroom. I can't tell you how many times I've seen this, but I would see a woman sitting in the bathroom floor in the fetal position.
I don't know.
She would be crying, and she would look up at me every now and then. I would tell my mom about it, but she would just tell me to go back to sleep. The nights I would sleep in my bedroom, I would see what looked like little trolls in my closet scampering around.
What?
I would shut the closet door, but by the morning it would be ajar. That property, woods, and land have something on it, whether it be an Indian burial ground or whatever. But being up there after dark, now as an adult, I still feel stuff watching me. Here's some stories my grandpa has told me from the 50s. My papa is super religious, the type that if he's telling a story and he messes up one of the facts, he will soon correct it and say, Lord, forgive me, so I know for a fact that these are the God's honest truth. My papa grew up in a one-room house here in the county, not too far from where I grew up. Him and his brother, my uncle, were around 15 or 16 and were sitting on the back porch of their houses just talking and laughing, probably drinking coffee. He swears on his life that up in the sky, maybe 500 feet, a three-paneled door appears. Not in cloud form, but an actual door. He said that the door was white and it had a small lit lantern at the bottom of the door. He said that they watched it for hours. It just sat there. They could see the flame flickering in the lantern. He said after a few hours, it just completely disappeared. Another one he told me about was his dad, my great-grandpa, and his dad, my great-great-grandpa, fishing with another father and son one night on the North Fork of the Kentucky River. They did this about once a week around midnight. Not sure why midnight, maybe better fishing. Anyways, they were heading back to town upriver, and they started hearing a funeral hymn getting closer and closer. They stopped the boat on the riverbank and said that a boat was floating towards them with nothing inside but an old hickory casket. They sat there in amazement and scared to death. He said that they could have reached out and touched the casket. That's how close it was. The other father and son said, well, I think that's a sign for us to go home. I don't think they ever went fishing at night again. I've got several other stories that have happened to me and my family. Might make another post later on. Eastern Kentucky has some serious paranormal activity. I'm going to school for video production, so I'm thinking about making videos of people's stories.
Man, I'd like to hear some more of what this person has to say.
Yeah, for sure. This was 3 years ago, and this happened, like I said, in Eastern Kentucky, so...
At first, I felt like I was hearing stories about my mama and papa's old home, like when I was real little. So
But yeah,
weird.
that's actually, if you guys have watched the video we have where we go camping in a remote cabin, that's actually my dad's cabin, and he owns that, and that's located in Eastern Kentucky. So there's a lot in Eastern Kentucky, obviously, but
There's a lot of creepy things
it's a
that have
very
happened
creepy
there,
area.
evidently. That it's cool when you can find people especially older people that are willing to give some of these stories. Because
See,
there's a lot of really
that's my thing with a lot of the
creepy,
stories that I heard growing up is most of the people have passed away now.
right? I wish so much that I could like pick my mama for
Right, yeah.
stories now, because I
That's
know
like
there were a lot that she had.
like my grandfather, he was the one that would tell me some. He had a couple really good stories. I would love to have been able to document him telling himself, because I have nothing now but just secondhand accounts, whatever. But there's actually there's one guy that well, he's very old in age. I'd say he's in his upper 90s now. But this guy's actually he claims to have encountered a something about 8 foot tall with horns on its head. Yeah, so it's supposed to be
Wendigo.
And this was actually not far from the cabin we stayed at,
Right.
where this guy would go hunting.
No,
and,
not far at all. Was it?
No, not at all. We were probably a half a mile.
I'm not gonna
from
say the
this
name
place.
of the road, but
yeah, he would go hunting, and he never went hunting in this place again because he ran into this thing, and it
maybe
sounds like a type
it.
of Bigfoot creature with horns on its head.
They've been known to wear
I'm working
antlers.
on contacting this guy to see if I can get him to maybe talk to me on the phone if he don't feel like doing the video.
Yeah.
I really want to talk to him about it because I've heard so many secondhand accounts of the of this thing, whatever it is, and I don't really know enough to talk too much about it, but I'm working on it. And if I get around to talking to him, I'm definitely I will share whatever information I get, whether or not I can get him to speak on record about it. You never know, because as you guys know, the one story I've told, the guy took all that information to his grave. He didn't even tell his own son.
All right. Speaking of creatures with antlers, want to tell them about?
I do, yes. Okay. I will share the picture that you took of me with this thing. So I was riding our 4-wheeler on our property. What was that?
Riding our girls around.
This past week, sometimes beginning of the week, I guess. Kids love to go riding on this thing, so I just take them.
It was Monday, wasn't it? Sunday or Monday?
Sunday, beginning of the week, yeah. Anyway, I'd been walking down our trail a couple times earlier in the day, and I hadn't seen anything, which I'm sure I would have seen this. Anyway, we get on the 4-wheeler. I go around through our neighbor's yard onto the other side of our trail, like down from the front, like towards our yard. And halfway down, I get excited because I see this thing that I think is a limb.
Great piece of
a limb. I think the first thing I thought is a limb had broken off of a tree. It was very windy that day, and that maybe I have some firewood now because that's what it looks like. It's laying It's right in front of the bench we have. We made a little. I don't even want to call it a bench. It's a piece of wood.
No, it's a bench.
It is a bench.
It's not a piece of wood. It's It's just a
little thing to sit on.
Bench.
Anyway, it was right in front of it, and I rolled up. I was gonna get my firewood, and I realized it's not firewood. This is an antler. And I'm not a hunter. I'm not a big game dude. I don't know much about these things. I know I've never seen anything like that around here. I can say that. I know what kind of animals we have around here. I'm not familiar with us having any elk being in central Kentucky. But clearly we do because I found an elk horn. And as you can see now, an antler. It's a elk. It's a shed is what they call it.
It is
I'm cool
huge.
with the hunting terms now. But yeah, as you guys are looking at in this picture, it's absolutely massive. I mean, you see me holding this thing, and
I think it measures like
I'm
52.5 inches.
And we measured it. It's 52.5 inches.
Following the curve.
Yeah, that was along the curve.
Mm-hmm.
And absolutely amazing. Just to think that there's a head that this thing went on, and that there's
only half of it.
That is half of it, and this thing moves freely through the woods. I don't understand how it works.
How is it not? The cat is trying to.
Is the cat trying to?
Yeah, it was a little bit creepy for a second, but that is what that was.
knocking on the door of the studio. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoy the picture of the elk shed that I found. I'm not a hunter, so forgive me if I'm not using correct hunter terminology. I don't have anything against hunters. I don't really understand how you can pull the trigger on a cute little animal. I just don't have it in me for whatever
Well, when your
reason.
survival depends on it,
Well, that's different.
you do what you
know.
do.
I murder chickens all the time. Actually, I don't kill
You
chickens.
murder? What are you?
I just
Why
eat
would
chickens.
you say that?
Well, we all eat chickens, right? I can say we're all complicit in some way to chickens being murdered. If you eat chicken, I eat chicken. You eat chicken. You eat. I know you eat chicken. We have ate chicken in the past 3 hours. I'm sure. Foster's chicken.
It's the
I'm
best
not
chicken
sponsored
wings
by
around, man.
Foster's, but I certainly hope to be at some point in my life because I don't think you could dream up a better sponsorship. That's a product right there. That's a product that I will highly recommend to anybody that likes buffalo.
With or without sponsorship.
With or without sponsorship. Hopefully with at some point.
The buffalo style, to be specific.
Man, if you guys like buffalo wings,
man,
you've got to try Foster's. And I know you're going to tell me the price is too much and what does this have to do with paranormal stuff? Well, I'm here to tell you, it has everything
They're scary
to do
good.
with it. They're scary good. That's right, they are.
Goodness.
But anyway, I hope you guys have enjoyed our episode tonight. That wraps up number 17. And we got one more weekend left in September before we're into October. And we're going to have some really cool stuff for you guys in October. We'll probably go check out some haunted places or something. I don't know. It's going to get crazy. But I'm serious. I will be getting out over the next few weeks doing some filming. And you never know what you're going to run across when you go out.
I know.
So
that's the thrill of it.
That is the thrill of it. But we'll definitely post and let you guys check out whatever we do find. And, like I said, if you guys have any stories you want to share, or you know anybody that has a story and you would like them to share their story, we would love to share your story. Yeah. So just email us. Our email address is hillshadowsky@yahoo.com. That's hillshadowsky as in Kentucky @yahoo.com. Just send it to us. We'll share it on one of our weekly episodes. We have our uploads every Saturday, sometimes between noon and midnight. I don't know. It's just however long it takes me.
Even if you don't want it shared, still send it because I want to read it.
Right, yeah.
But just specify.
Yeah, just let us know if you don't want us to share. And if you don't want us to share your name or information or location, just details like that. Just give us the details. We'll share whatever you want us to share. Regardless, we would absolutely love to hear from you guys. And if you got nothing else, I got nothing else for right now.
I don't.
I'm done.
I don't.
But anyways, you guys have a wonderful weekend. I've been Jeremiah, and I will still be Jeremiah next week, I hope. And she's been Ashley. Would you like to say bye?
I don't even know what to say after that.
You don't know how to sign off? You don't want to sign off?
No, that sounded funny how you did it.
Did it?
Yeah.
I've been Jeremiah?
Yep.
I might not be Jeremiah. I don't know who I am now.
Anyhow.
Anyway.